Hello and welcome to this week's Business Spotlight. I'd like to welcome Jak Carlin, who's the founder of Alleyoop. Jak, thanks for coming on today.
Thanks very much for having me.
Good, good. So let's start with the question that you must get asked all the time then. What on earth does Alleyoop mean?
Yeah, so Alleyoop's a basketball term, and it's basically when someone passes the ball to another player in mid-air and that player slam dunks it. So the thought process is that an alley-oop is setting someone up for a slam dunk, which is what we try to do with the businesses and partners that we work with.
Nice, nice. Right, okay. So unpack your business for us, bring to life what you do and what you do for customers.
Absolutely. So we're a full service digital agency. We concentrate on personal branding, so branding the people behind businesses, performance marketing, which is like PPC, paid social, Google Ads, paid social, and anything that's kind of brand related, so marketing strategy, design, stuff like that. We can also then look at media for you, like TV, radio, whatever you need.
Okay. And how did you get into this game then? How did you end up where you are?
Yeah, so I was when I came out of uni, I started working for Bauer Media. I was there for 10 years, eventually the sales director at Radio 4th in Edinburgh. So the equivalent of Radio Clyde in Glasgow. So I was the sales director there. I left there and done a short stint at Global, which is the other big media business in like the UK, if you like, Bauer and Global. And from there, I was working with a couple of my clients doing their PPC and social when I then left Global, and it worked. It really, really worked. People were then seeing results really quickly, trackable results that they could then see that when I spend X amount, I get X amount back, which is a big difference, I think, when it comes to performance marketing versus radio TV. Radio TV work, but you can't see how much you're getting back for every pound that you spend. Whereas with digital, you can. So the fact that it was then trackable and we could say to a client, listen, for every £1,000 you spend, you're making 6,000, 8,000, 10,000 back. It becomes a far easier conversation as to whether they want to scale up, scale back, keep going, pull back, whatever they want to do.
And I'm interested to come back to that point, the return on investment piece. But before I do, then, so you're working with some pretty big brands. You know, what made you leave? Because it must have been, I guess, quite comfortable, nice brands. You know, sounds like a good, a cushy. What was it? Somebody said the other day, a cruisy job, a nice cruisy job.
It was, definitely, and it was the job I wanted. So when I first started there, the sales director there, he had a brilliant life, he had a great job, and I was like, that's the job I want. I got the job in August 2019, so became the sales director in August 2019, and obviously March 2020 the job completely changed. And I mean, like, it went from being a particular job to being a completely different job, just because of the nature of what was then required from the business, what was then required from clients. It was a completely different job. It was all the bits that I loved about the job, like sitting in front of people, working with people, client hospitality, all these wee things that I really loved about the job were taken away. And like a lot of people, you were left with the kind of day-to-day that isn't quite as exciting. I was then I consume a lot of media, I consume a lot of content, and I was looking at the direction of travel, basically based on where spend was going, where growth was. And it was blatantly obvious that performance marketing was very much on the up. When I was speaking to a lot of my clients, some that were that were still doing the old newspaper ads were currently saying, you know, what about social media? Should we be on Facebook? Should we be looking at Google? And when these guys are looking at it, it's you know that it's coming at a time where everybody has to be on across these platforms, and it's so effective. So because Google Ads, I would say, has got to be the most effective form of performance marketing. It's an easy sell. It's an easy thing for me to take to a client and say, listen, we'll put your ad in front of a customer who's actually looking for your service there and then. So the way I explained it to one of my clients I've got now, I said, when you compare it, just for the kind of comparison between radio and PPC, if you were standing in the middle of a shopping centre with a stall, radio is the equivalent of speaking to every single person in that shopping centre, regardless of what they're in the shopping centre looking for. PPC is putting it in front of the 5 people that are in that shopping centre that day looking for the service that you're providing. There's no right or wrong. Both are an effective way of communicating your message. But do you want to speak to everyone about your business? Or this was an alarm system business. I was saying, do you want to speak to everyone about your alarm system business, or do you want to speak to the people who are actually looking for an alarm system right now? Because that's what Google Ads and PPC will do for you.
Yeah. And I'm just conscious not everyone maybe listening to this will know what PPC is in detail. So can you give us a wee explanation of that?
Yeah, PPC stands for pay per click, and it's effectively Google Ads. So whatever if you search something on Google, the first 3 ads are normally sponsored ads. That is PPC. Just the first, only the first 3 ads on a Google search is pay per click, which is Google's advertising platform.
Mm-hmm. And so that's obviously a mainstay of what you do with businesses. What other things would be typical that you would help a business with?
Yep. So one of the it was something that was far more prominent when I first started the agency, is personal branding. So it's basically branding the people behind businesses. So I've got 4 active clients at the moment who we look after the actual business owner's brand, not the business. So for me, rather than it being advertising Alleyoop or advertising Alleyoop services, it's advertising Jak Carlin, and it's building up that person's profile. Now we do that through a couple of different ways. We do it with a content strategy. So the type of stuff that you see on LinkedIn, video content, written content, but devising a proper content strategy, looking at what they're looking to achieve and why they want to build their personal brand, and devising a content strategy to hit those goals. We then look at other things like placing on podcasts, public speaking. When they're then doing that, we're there to create more content while they're doing it. So if they're sitting on a podcast, I've got a client that's on a podcast tomorrow, and we'll be there with 3 cameras to set up, 2 cameras on him and 1 on the guy that's interviewing him. And then that way we can create more short form content to go out on his LinkedIn. And again, it just builds his own presence. We build authority within his area. We build his own profile, and it does what? We generate leads, we've generated business, and we build that authority. What you're looking for when it comes to personal branding, you're looking for someone to say, I know a guy who can do that. And that's what we're trying to do when we're building people's personal brands, is get people to understand exactly what they do and know that they're an expert in that field. So that then when they hear of someone who needs that, they go, I know a guy who can do that.
And I guess it must feel uncomfortable for some people, I guess, doing personal branding. Would you suggest that any business owner should have a personal brand as well as the company brand?
So I think everyone does have a personal brand. Some people just control their personal brand more than others. Actual personal branding in the way that so when I'm saying personal branding, we look after business owners' digital reputation. It's definitely not for everyone. And I know that there are businesses who, I've got 2 cells when I'm speaking to people about managing their digital reputation. I've got 2 cells. One is showing them the benefits of doing this and why it would be good for their business. And then the second is making them actually do it. Because I was speaking to a business owner recently. I sit and speak to him about, you should be doing this because of A, B, C, and D. And he goes, yep, totally. I totally understand that. And I can totally see all the value in doing it. Right, okay, do you want to do it? No. And I totally understand that. It's a case of, it's just not for him. It's not his personality. He's far better to be behind the brand than in front of it. But then I've got the clients that I am working with are known beyond that of their brand, if you know what I mean. So you would think of them before you would think of their business. I use a couple of examples in the where we met in Glasgow. Eddie Hearn, boxing promoter. A lot of people would know who he is if they see his face. Very few people would be able to name his business. Peter Jones is another one. Peter Jones from Dragon's Den. You know who he is. You know what value he can add to a room when he walks into the room, but you don't know the name of his business. So there's no right or wrong, but I don't think it's for everyone.
Yeah, I think I was sharing with you, I was down at a conference, BizX, last week, and one of the speakers was Stephen Bartlett. And my goodness, what a job he's done in the last 18 months, 2 years, hasn't he, in personal branding?
Aye, and even prior to that, so when he took his business public, he had a huge investor, a huge retail investor community that bought into that business purely because of the story that was behind his business when he then took it public. He's a great example. And he had a co-founder. When he left that business, he had a co-founder. The 2 of them were on completely different trajectories. And again, there's no right or wrong there. You know, the other guy is also a really wealthy young man, but he's just not on that same trajectory as Stephen Bartlett because he's built that brand. And when you do that and you exit the business, if you build your personal brand alongside the brand and then you then exit that business, you are still that person. So he was then still Stephen Bartlett from Social Chain when he exited that business. And he could then carry that forward, whereas a lot of people, when they exit their business, they've exited their business.
Yeah. Do you know, it's interesting. My background's corporate, so Coca-Cola and Cadbury. And it was probably one of the most difficult things I found when I came to work for myself is being an Yvonne instead of being a Coke or a Cadbury.
100%. You know? Even on a smaller scale for me, picking up the phone to businesses and saying that it's Jack from Alleyoop rather than Jack from Radio 4. It's a huge difference. They know Radio 4. Oh, brilliant, Radio 4, in you come. I still sometimes introduce myself as Jack from Radio 4.
Maybe if it just gets you in, then that's fine. Just go with it, Jack.
I say, radio? No, I'm not here to talk about radio.
So you mentioned video there, and more people are consuming video. How important is that going to be moving forward for either personal branding or companies?
Massive. It's just the easiest way to. It's the easiest way to communicate your message. The easiest way to consume it. So it's the most entertaining way to consume it. It's the most. I'm a big podcast guy as well. I listen to podcasts all the time. I think that audio and video are just. Someone sent me a link recently. They were like, "Have a read of this," and it was an article, and I was just like, "No, give me that in a podcast form, and I'll stick it on." But I think that the way that our attention spans are going, and when you look at like the way that our attention spans have gone because of social media, because of the way we're consuming media, I think video and audio are going to be so much more important moving forward. It's the most nerve-wracking thing that business owners can do as well. Like, sitting in front of a camera, I know that you've got a bit of experience in it yourself. So when you first sit in front of a camera and you first start recording video, it's horrible. But it does get a bit easier, and it's an effective way of doing it.
I dodged it for, I think, about 2 years before I started doing video. And then when I started it, I kind of got into it. Now I'd go so far as to say I actually quite enjoy it, Jack. So I don't know if that's like your clients. Yeah.
I've got a studio set up in the garage and I get to do the face to camera stuff. I've got it sitting there, the backdrop's ready, it's all ready to go, lights done. Jumping in front of it is the bit that you got a bit like, I'm not sure. And that's what I was saying to you earlier, is that for me, at the stage that I'm at in my business, I don't think I'm there where I can sit and jump in front of the camera and tell people this is how you should be doing this with your marketing, or this is how you should be doing that. But with the events that I run where I'm speaking to other business founders, business leaders, really interesting people, to be able to take that content and use that for my own personal brand is going to be the way that I'm going to try to kind of accelerate that.
Yeah, because I guess you've got to walk the walk, haven't you? You've got to demonstrate to your clients how you do it.
Get to build a personal branding agency without a personal brand.
This is true. So tell me, you touched there on business events. Tell me about those.
Yep. So Jamie Hodgson and I, a friend of mine that does really high quality video production. We were chatting about how we were both new in our business. We were both like hating networking, really going to networking events and things. And he said to me, "What networking events are good?" I gave him the ones that I thought were good. He told me the ones I thought were good. I'm like, I hate this about that, and I hate this about that. So we basically wrote down everything that we hated about networking and said, we're going to create a networking event, ban all that stuff. So absolutely no name badges, absolutely no stand up and tell us in 20 seconds about your business. Just a really natural, organic event where people can come along, get to know each other and maybe help each other out in business. I also had a podcast that I really wanted to launch in 2020 when I think 90% of the population started podcasts in lockdown.
Yeah. There's nothing else to do.
Exactly. So I thought I'll bring that to life. And so we've now got the Business Playbook, which is a live podcast and networking event. We all get together at the Virgin Money in George Street. We have a drink. We listen in Edinburgh. We have a drink. We listen to an interesting person. We do a bit of networking. There's a wee after party, but they're going really well. Everybody seems to be loving them. I'm really, really enjoying it, and I'm learning a lot from it.
And I had to be nosy before you came on. Your next one's sold out already, isn't it?
Yes, they sell it as soon as we go up, so it's good.
And what's the plan with that then? Are you going to go to, like, if you keep getting sold out, would you need bigger venues? Are you going to put them on?
Oh, this is the road to the Hydro.
All right, okay, big plans then.
So we're both really enjoying it. So it's like let's just keep it, while we're enjoying it, we're going to keep doing it. And it's whether it's, if it takes off, if it doesn't, it's we're both really enjoying it. The people who are coming along seem to be enjoying it, and we're now starting to see people meeting up with other people who they've met at the events, which is quite nice when you see someone who you know have met at the event, but then they're then meeting up and they're doing business with each other or they're helping each other out. Then we've got some plans to do to kind of, once we've established a brand, to roll it out into different formats. But at the moment, it's a case of we all get together once a month and have a drink. So
sounds good. You can start doing tours, Jack.
We'll get Glasgow next.
Glasgow, get the Ouija's, to come along. There's a Virgin Money there too.
No,
so
it's exactly where we'll do it as well.
Yeah. So moving forward, then, what's the plans for the business? Obviously, you're going to continue to have your networking thing because you enjoy it and it's part of your personal branding. What's the focus for the business going to be moving forward?
I'm at that stage now where I'm asking myself that question all the time. I'm at the stage now where I'm reaching capacity for me, and it's a case of start to build a team out. But it's a nerve-wracking thing to do, and say to someone, I know I'm already speaking to the person who I want to bring into the team, but that person would then have to quit their job, come in, put their full trust in me, and it's having the conviction to go, right, okay, on you come and come over and do that. So that's the plan for me for this year, is to start building out a team so that I can then just increase my own capacity, work with some more people, and hopefully just grow it quite organically.
Mm-hmm. Do you know, that reminds me of we had Andrew Dobie from Made Brave speak at one of our events recently, and I think I'll butcher it a little bit, but he talks about taking on that first hire and how scared he was taking on that first hire, and he's thinking, well, I just need to cover the wages for the first month, and then hopefully they'll start to generate business after that. But it's a scary thing. And is there a particular client base you're looking for? Who would an ideal client be for you?
I've got a 3D rendering business, got a field and forestry equipment business, got an alarm security business. It's really broad because of consumer behaviour, because of the way that people respond to when they're looking for something. Everybody Googles it, whether it's a hat or a tractor. If whatever you're looking for, you're Googling it. So it's as broad as that. So
right, okay.
We're working with clients in loads of sectors. We've done my client is a 3D rendering business. They'll basically take drawings for buildings, architectural or product. If you've got a drawing for a product, they'll make it so that you can kind of see it and then pull it all to bits.
Mm-hmm.
They seen some success in the UK and had a look at other English speaking markets and rolled out their ads across USA, Australia and the UAE. So we're then taking them to different markets, and it's because it doesn't matter where you are. If you want something, you're Googling it.
Yeah, makes sense. And so you've been in business, 2-3 years now, is that right?
1 year.
1 year, less than that. So what have been the biggest bumps in the road? What's been the biggest obstacles you think you've had to face?
Getting properly started. So I registered the business a year ago this month, but I still had a potential job that I was going to in the June, and then I wasn't sure if I was going to go really take this really seriously. So I didn't actually take the business that seriously until I was working with a couple of clients, but I was basically a freelancer at that point. And then it was about the August last year that I went, right, I'm going to properly start taking this seriously. Taking on clients that are probably wrong for me. So I had a client that's finished up with us, that whenever the phone rang and it was him, I was like, oh. And my wife was saying to me, like, why are you doing this? So, you left a job because you were feeling like that on the phone. So it's being able to kind of go, no, actually that client definitely isn't right for me. Then I think that's probably been another one.
Mm-hmm. And so if you had your time again, what would you do differently, or would you start quicker? What would your learnings be then of what you've gone through in the last?
I'm so early in it that I think I'd struggle with that one because I am so early in that. One day I'll probably look back and say, well, that's something that I've done wrong, or that's something that I've done wrong. But at the moment, I'm probably too early in to even think about it.
Okay, so moving forward then, and I know you're finding your way and you want to grow organically. What would good look like? What would you sitting back looking at your business thinking, do you know what, Jack, I'm dead proud of myself? What would that look like?
It's a difficult one. So I spoke to Andrew Dobby on Business Playbook as well. And when we were talking about his business and the growth of his business and the office space that he's got and the team that he's got, and I said to him when I first started looking at this, I was like, I'm going to build an agency just like that. I think that if we could emulate that type of growth and be able to kind of create a space and a team that's of that kind of level, I think would be a really good place for us to get to.
It would be, and his offices look amazing as well, don't they?
Oh, they're amazing, unbelievable.
Yeah. So, if somebody's sitting here watching this, what kind of pain points might they be having in their business that, would be a clue to reach out to you so you could help them? What kind of things might they be experiencing?
So if they are a sales focused business that want more leads, basically, if they we work with a business that's a window installation, extensions, conservatories, and they were looking to increase their revenue streams, so they wanted to open a kitchen showroom, or they wanted to start doing kitchens. We started generating them kitchen leads. They've now got a kitchen showroom that they've opened on the back of it. So if they're a sales focused business and can always have more leads coming through the door, then reach out. Again, if it's on the personal branding side, if it's a person who wants to build their own brand alongside or beyond that of their own business, then that's what we're here for.
Cool, sounds good. And just before we close, there any top tips from you for people in business? What would your top tips for business people be?
Take it a day at a time. Don't overthink it too much, and take it a day at a time.
Sound advice. Look, Jak, well done on your success so far. I wish you all the best for the future, and I'll be watching with interest and trying to get along to one of these business playbook events that you're running.
Brilliant, that'd be great. Thanks very much, Yvonne.
Thank you.
Cheers.